with South Carolina taking a 37-20 lead against number 10 Texas A&M at home. We got to say, it is one of the more resounding and cool upsets in college football this year, given what South Carolina has shown itself to be, which is capable of winning a game like this and establishing a 17-point lead with 3:24 left to play, and really turning Williams-Brice into the kind of place that Shane Beamer envisioned it being when SEC teams would need to come there. And this is a guy who's been up and down all throughout his time at South Carolina. South Carolina fans love him. South Carolina fans hate him. I know alumni that are like, I don't know what to do with this dude, but you seem to like Shane Beamer. I do like Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer is about it when he talks. And he's also a guy that keeps his receipts. I remember going back to the SEC media days. He had a whole list of things he needed people to know about his football program and how the SEC media had voted against his football program. And then they kind of showed us that they were about something. They beat Kentucky like they sold something. At the time, we're thinking maybe Kentucky's just not that good. Maybe South Carolina's a little bit better. Turns out Kentucky plays Georgia to a 1-point loss at home. And we're going, wait a second. South Carolina, and then South Carolina's in a ball game with LSU. LSU comes back to win that thing. They're in a ball game with Alabama. Alabama comes back to win that thing. They stomp out Oklahoma at Oklahoma, and he's looking around. He's going, hey, guys, I was at this school. I understand what it means to win here. I understand how difficult it is to get wins in the SEC, and this is not the time when you want to be figuring out your quarterback position. It's not the time when you want to be trying to figure out what this SEC is all about in the middle of the season. You got to make it go, and the throttle's got to get down. And he took some of his own advice, and he put that back into South Carolina football, and they put themselves in position to beat up the last undefeated team in SEC play in number 10 Texas A&M at South Carolina. Really, really great win, I think, for them, right? We're doing this, and they got a 16-point lead here with 3:24 left to go. I don't feel the least bit bad about that. 13-27, 244 for Lenore Sellers, but also, I mean, between him and Rocket Sanders, you got a rushing attack that's awesome. Like, we're talking about getting to 137 yards and 100 yards rushing in before garbage time starts to kick off. But we're also talking about being able to hold A&M in check. And I thought it was interesting that A&M, for me, looked a lot like South Carolina. South Carolina looks a lot like A&M. Outstanding defensive lines, pretty damn good on the back end, quarterbacks that are much more likely to beat you up running the football than throwing the football, and a tailback or two that can get after you. I thought that this one had the makings of being pretty outstanding, pretty good. I know South Carolina is unranked, and I understand that Texas A&M is number 10, but that's by virtue of beating LSU and having the one loss against Notre Dame at A&M. And then what you'd seen, right? Now, Mike Elko on Sunday says, hey, Marcel Reed is our starting quarterback. Connor Wigman is his backup, to which I'm kind of scratching my head because you were able to exploit an obvious weakness now, not obvious then, but obvious weakness now in LSU's defense with Marcel Reed, right? You change the pace. You understand that we have the numbers on the perimeter in the run game if we start running the quarterback as often as we might, and they're able to turn that game into a rout and a win against an LSU team that still played pretty well, and Garrett Nussmeier played well. Then you're going to try to run that same game plan against South Carolina. The difference is South Carolina already has that on tape, so they get to prepare for it, and South Carolina says, wait, we're just playing ourselves now. This is Lenore Sellers. This is what we've been doing all year. We have to live and die by if that guy can complete passes, we're going to be pretty damn good. And he did, man. In this game, he had 4 to Joshua Simons, including one that was a 57-yard backbreaker for 132 yards, 2 TDs. They kept going to him. You got great kicking out of Alex Herrera, who went 4 for 4 on his extra points and 3 for 3 in field goals. Stuff you just weren't getting from against Alabama. Stuff you just weren't getting against LSU. But the other thing that has become clear about South Carolina's team and Shane Beamer, South Carolina, is that they're going to play their best football in November. And guess what month it is, guys? It is November. A couple years ago, they doubled up Clemson and Tennessee to finish, and it looked like it came out of nowhere. But that's just what this program has done here in the last few years. And now we got a 5-team tie at the top of the SEC with 3 weeks of football, SEC football, left to play before we got to figure out who's going to play in the conference championship. And everybody in that league is gettable. Everybody in that league can get beat by everybody else in that league for the first time perhaps ever. We're talking about Vanderbilt getting its first win at Auburn ever, doubling up Alabama and Auburn for the Alabama State Championship for the first time since 1955. We're talking about Alabama taking a loss to Vanderbilt and Tennessee in the same year. We're talking about Georgia needing to come back to take a win in the world's largest outdoor cocktail party against a Florida team that was down to the third-string quarterback and the second-string and the third-string tailbacks, and a defense that I know people think is sneaky good, but it's a Georgia offense we expected to run through them. Hey, RJ, we didn't have Trevor Etienne. So, Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions to that team. And it wasn't really him that ends up winning the football game for you. It is the defense, once again, needing to get a late pick of the Yale transfer and the red shirt freshman who was a deer in headlights, did everything he could. My heart goes out to Aiden and what he was trying to get done out there. But there's a reason why the dude didn't get no run with the first team until he was in there against the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay? That's what we're looking at here. Aiden throwing to Aiden, I thought was going to be pretty cool. Aiden Mizell had 3 catches, 50 yards in this one. But we're also looking at, the score is already blown up. It's 44-20. You know what I'm saying? This is getting out of hand for A&M, and it's going to be real interesting to see where they rank in the College Football Playoff Selection Committee's top 25 and whether or not South Carolina gets into that thing. We're going to go through my top 25, and I'm going to kind of predict what I think is going to happen, what I think the teams look like based on what we've seen from this Week 10 going into Week 11. But I think this is a demonstration of the SEC. And I've had some people coming from the Big Ten, Ohio State fans mostly, Oregon fans some, a few Indiana fans going, RJ, how can you say that the SEC is the best league in football, has the best football of any league in college football? I'm going, they're eating each other alive. Top to bottom, Vanderbilt is not an easy win. Mississippi State has got off the map and decided we're going to play a little football. All the way down to Auburn, who's sorry, right? Auburn's not good, okay? However, if I look at the Big Ten, I'm watching Washington go back and forth with USC, and both of those teams are bad, right? I'm watching Indiana stomp a mud hole in Michigan State and walk it dry. I'm watching Penn State not score a damn offensive touchdown against Ohio State. It's really a 3-team league. That's what I'm telling you. It's a 3-team league. It's Indiana, it's Ohio State, and it's Oregon. After that, everybody else is running second. Meanwhile, we got a 5-way tie, and what we know of is a league that can produce national champions, and that's what we're going off of here. LSU, Alabama, Georgia, those are 3, okay? You know how many national champions come out of the Big Ten? 2. Ohio State, Michigan. Oregon, still looking for their first national championship ever. Indiana, still looking for their first national championship ever. You go through Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Texas, Oklahoma, Florida. You can keep going. You know what I'm saying? Even A&M has a national championship, even if it's from 1939. But those hopes look dashed as they fall to 2 losses. Still got a shot, but that's the thing. It feels like everybody that has 2 losses or fewer can make the SEC championship game and can make the college football playoff. So it's going to become real interesting once we get past 4 conference champions and the highest ranked group of 5 champions. So that's 5 spots accounted for when we start talking about the 7 spots that we're going to get to. And A&M is going to have to figure this out because I think that you're going to have to keep running with Marcel Reed, but you're going to have to commit to doing what he does well. And right now, that's not throwing the football. He just does not throw the football well. He 18 of 28, 206, pick, 3 sacks. You didn't get enough out of Amari Daniels. I understand the thing about Le'Veon Moss, so I'm going to the tent like everybody else. That sucks. But you had a tailback that was, frankly, your most productive tailback in Daniels last year that was still there. And you still getting doubled up by South Carolina and Lenore Sellers. Credit to South Carolina for showing up for the football game. A&M did not know how to respond to a win in front of 108,000 of their fans. They think they're going to take this momentum with them to South Carolina. South Carolina said, you got another thing coming. Really enjoyed that for them. I think it's a great win, and I think it is indicative of what we're going to see in the SEC the rest of the way. What's up, kid folks? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. If you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 116,000 subscribers here on the channel. We do this after big games on Saturdays. We do this on Sundays. We do this on Tuesdays after the College Football Playoff Selection Committee announces what its top 25 looks like, and I pick it apart, right? We do this. This is our time. November to December through to January, you're going to want to be here. I only do this. This is what I love to do, and I love chatting with you. So if you're in the live chat, say what's up. Keep it clean. Keep it civil, but talk your noise if you got that win. Talk your noise if you can't wait to get somebody on the other side of this here thing.